G'day and welcome to Ford Off-Road. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fit a safari snorkel to a Toyota Prado. Righto, out of the box, the parts you get with your safari snorkel is obviously the snorkel, the head. You get a little felt piece to go between the sheet metal in the car and the body of the snorkel. A little tube for the inner guard. A little fitting kit, brackets and hose clamps, template to cut out, and of course a set of instructions. Now this is a safari snorkel onto a 2011 Toyota Prado. It's going to be basically the same procedure whether you have 4-inch stainless, TJM, AirTech, like the cheapest one off eBay. It's just going to be pretty much the same procedure. It'll just have a different template. So you can follow this video for any snorkel fit onto a Prado. Just make sure that you obviously follow the template in your one, but everything else is going to be relatively similar or the same. So let's get into it. Now I've already jacked the car up and taken the wheel off. You don't have to take the wheel off, but it does make it a lot easier to get the inner guard out. So there's just a whole heap of 10mm head bolts and these little clips. Rip all those out and pull guard out. A pair of these pliers helps a lot with those little clips. Just pinches them out, because they can be a pain in the ass. Down out of the way. You don't really need to take the whole thing off, you can just get it halfway down, just so that it's all exposed up inside that. Now we're going to pull, now what I'm going to do is take the standard airbox out. There we go. Now there's 3 bolts on the airbox in, 2 12mm inside it and one just there. Make sure you take the filter out and get to the other bolts, otherwise you'll be pulling on it. Brake something. Somewhere they're not going to get lost. Righto. Alright, so now you got to get this end piece off the airbox, and that no longer gets used. The snorkel will go straight onto that. A little bit of thread sealing on one end, and screw them in. Screw them in tight by hand, and that's why you put Loctite on them. It'll just dry and lock it in place. You have to put this pillar onto the car first and then put this snorkel on afterwards, but you've got to have this on here in order to mark it so you know where to drill the holes. Okay, now we're going to get this piece of foam and stick it on the snorkel. This is just to stop, you can fit it without this, some brands don't use this. This is just to stop vibrations and metal fatigue and whatnot. So it fits over the studs and everything. Just going to take the sticky back off it and attach it to the snorkel. Now we're going to put the template on. You've got to align that edge, and that edge goes up there with that where that little cutout is. This is probably the worst template. Anyway, you've got to align this edge and the top edge, so I'm just going to do that. I've got nowhere to put the camera, I'm just going to do that and I'll show you when it's done. This is actually one of the worst templates. Like, Safari is a very good brand. This is not a good template at all compared to some of the aftermarket stainless stuff that I've fitted. But anyway, as long as the holes are in the right spot, doesn't matter. Okay, so I've got that sticky taped on there. I've just put a little paint mark on every thing that I want to drill. Now it says to use a hole saw to drill these out. I'm actually going to do it a little bit differently, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a sec. Hole saws on sheet metal just don't work. So I'm going to show you how to do that a different way. Anyway, now I'm just going to drill out all the pilots for everything, and then I'm going to take the thing off. drill the pilots with a 4mm bit. Let all the holes are drilled. And take the template off. So now that is supposed to be drilled to a 89mm hole saw. So I'm going to chop out one of those circles to 89 and draw around it, because in the end it's going to make like an oval shaped hole. So I've cut out one of those at 89mm. Just put the center hole over the center hole. Trace around that, and that's what we're going to cut. Righto, chop out what's marked, or if you're using a hole saw, drill out what you've marked, and then if you're using a hole saw, you'll have to cut the bit off the top anyway, because you will have made 2 circles. So here we go. Okay, now I'm going to sit the snorkel on the vehicle, not tighten it down yet, not put any bolts on it. Just going to sit on there so I can mark where the holes for the bracket need to go. Alright, snorkel's sitting on the car. Now I'm just going to mark each edge of the bracket that holds it to the pillar. Now I'm going to pull it off the car, and each bolt hole is 25mm in from the edge, and that's where you're going to drill a hole for these little plastic things. Drill a hole to put these little plastic things in, which is an 8mm hole. I know it's a square thing going in a circle hole, but you push it in and you just put these screws on. So now I'm just going to do that and come back when it's done. Okay, now that's up on the pillar, I'm going to fit the snorkel for the final time of the car. I'm going to begin with these 2 up here, but not tight yet, just sitting in. Now inside the guard to secure the snorkel, there's rubber washers and metal washers. You need 1 rubber washer against the body of the car, and then a metal washer, then a no-lock nut. Some of the bolts can be tricky to get to, but make sure you do get to them all. Don't just think, oh, forget about that one, it's too hard, because there's a chance of either damaging the snorkel or over time cracking the body or something along those lines. Let's go and get these all on. Okay, so that's the snorkel fitted to the car. Now, so I've got a body washer and a rubber washer on each of those. Now you're going to get this inner guard piece, put the hose clamp on it first, because otherwise it's going to be very hard to do later. One end through there, the other end over the snorkel. Don't tighten it down yet. I'm going to put the airbox in and get the whole system complete before I tighten it on there. But I'm trying. Righto. Now before I tighten that, I'm going to put before that gets tightened, airbox is going to go back in. I'm going to tighten this end. Now before the airbox goes back in the car, you'll need to grind off these 2 tabs and that little piece, because the new pipe's going to slide over that. Make sure that this rubber piece is on a good amount. So it's not just on the lip, but make sure it's actually on a fair way, so it's got a good seal. Righto, we're now finished in the engine bay. Just going to tighten up the hose clamp underneath that goes to the actual snorkel. Tighten up that hose clamp, put the inner guard back on, put the wheel on, job's done. Snorkel on top. Oh, I'd like to take the car off the jack stand before I put the head on, so you can make sure that it's dead straight. Just walking back and looking at it a couple of times. Tighten her up, and job's done. So that's how you fit a safari snorkel to a Prado. This is a 2011 model. It'll be the same for a lot of different Prados. And a lot of different brands will be the same, they just have different hardware and obviously will have a different template. So anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and check out the rest of my channel. I've got lots of videos on Hiluxes, lots of motorbike riding videos, and lots of videos on building my Nissan Patrol. So check that out, I'll see you in the next one.